So in this part, starting to connect just to see what's going on with the shimming. So here we've got the main shaft in place. You can see here that the thrust wash is there. I mentioned in a previous part that I was thinking about using some araldite or two-part epoxy to create a peg in the main shaft to locate the thrust washer. So I've decided not to do that. I'm going to do it properly, and I'm going to tap a small hole, and I'm going to use a tapered peg tomorrow. I'm going to drive that peg into the shaft, kind of probably how it would have been done before. Maybe the peg sheared off, maybe it's ground down, but I think the araldite would only have been a short-term fix. So that's a job for tomorrow. But in any case, the thrust washer is in place. It's actually the wrong way around, so it doesn't matter, but just for correctness, the oil grooves need to face the sleeve gear. So thrust washer, main axle in. So this next piece will be about the shimming. So here we've got the front cover. Seeing this for the first time. This was cracked, so it's a known problem that over time they crack here due to the kick starting, the stamping. They're probably not the greatest kind of alloy compositions or whatever, but this was welded and filled and finished. This is the left hand bearing here, which is a 6203. It's an SKF bearing. I'm just using the existing one. It felt okay. It doesn't have any shields. That's fine. We've got some oil shims. It measures 40 mil on the outside diameter. Just checking the 16 mil inside diameter and 12 mil thickness. So all I've done is gently tap this into the cover from the inside. Tapped it through. You can see the threads here. So I've tapped it until it's pretty much flush. Okay, and now the process begins of shimming. So what I'm going to do is I made a gasket here. Again, can't get these, so I made them out of gasket paper. So I'm going to put this here just so that obviously this reflects the true kind of left to right spacing of the casing. So I'm going to drop that in there. So I'm now going to reach behind. I'm grabbing the main axle, the main shaft, and if you look here, you'll see. Okay, so that's the current play. Okay, so the bearing wants to go in ever so slightly, and this is the piece here. I'll obviously get the correct references and the correct part names for the next part to highlight all the original part numbers, but just for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to see if this piece actually drives all the way home. This is where the shims go. So the shims go on the outside of the casing, not on the inside. So the shims would go on this side, and what that would do is any shims between this plate, this outer cover plate, and the bearing would push the bearing in, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to push the bearing inwards down onto the shaft, but leaving no less than 0.1 mil float, free play. So I'm just going to, right, so that's gone all the way home, which means that we need some shims, right? So just grabbing some shims here. So when I found it, the Gearbox had a range of these shims. Now they are, some of them are okay. Some of them are warped. In fact, yeah, some of them are pretty good, but they're pretty thin. So what we might do is we might try those first, but I also have some other proper machined, these are from a two-stroke, a small two-stroke engine parts kit. So these are shims of varying thicknesses from, you know, less than 1 mil up to 2 or 3 mil. So all we're looking to do is try to get the correct thickness of shims. Now one of these, so you see the smaller inside diameter, that will act as the oil shield, because this bearing doesn't have shields. What we might do is and this is correct per the parts book, is we might put one of these on the inside, and this is correct. So just take this out. So this is supposed to act as the oil shield from the inside, like this. So just for this exercise, I'm just going to put one on the inside and see what that does to the play. Okay, so it's reduced it a little bit, and then I'm going to select, I'm actually going to pick a sort of a fairly decent oil shim, and then I'm just going to choose one other shim. So this one measures, I've got this 0.3 mil. So this is just going to be a case of trial and error. So we've got an oil shield on the inside of the bearing, and on the outside another oil shield, and then a shim. So now we're going to tighten down So I'm just going to see if that is actually right. Just knocked over a bunch of tools here in the background. So that's actually gone all the way home again. So what we'll do is we'll try another one. This one measures 0.4, so that's 0.7 of shimming. And what we should probably do is actually put in a couple of the cover plate nuts. These are also 7/16, so I'll go and grab my my socket. There will also be a fairly generous use of gasket sealant here, gasket maker, just because I know that the front cover and the main casing aren't. Try to lap them as best I can, but there are some undulations, you know, some gaps. So the gasket maker that I'll use is pretty good for that, and that will fill any gaps and stop the oil coming out. So that's the that's the front cover on, and then I'm just going to tighten this home again and see if, yep, so still a ways to go. I'm going to try sticking in another couple of these shims here and see what impact that has. So what we're looking to do is actually push this bearing inwards, but the shaft can never come backwards because those shims will sit on this outer cover. So I'm actually just getting some resistance now, tightening this front cover, end cover on. Yeah, I can hear it rubbing up against the shims. Yep. So we'll go again. There's actually a few more there, so I'm just going to try and get this bearing to move. As we tighten down this end cover. Yeah, so we've now got some resistance now, so as I tighten this down, it should start to push the bearing in. But we don't want to go too far, because we'll just have to undo and repeat the exercise if we go too far. I'm just trying to reduce the amount of pre-play. So there's a lot of resistance now, so hopefully that's now pushing the bearing. Still a bit of movement there. Keep going. I'll bring the camera down so that you can see that there's still, it's now focus. There's still a gap between the end plate and the front cover, so we've still got a wee bit to go, which is good. It means we can still push the bearing a little bit. So quite a lot of resistance now, so the bearing's got to be moving. The play seems to be about the same. Yeah, it's a lot of resistance, so got to be moving the bearing now. Just gonna keep going, just bit by bit. It's not far, there's still about another half turn to go on this. Just going to have to get it down on the bench to the side just to get some more leverage. That's it. Moved a bit more, so hopefully you can. So that's not far away now. I can see the movement. So you want to see some visible movement. It's possibly just a ways to go, but the front plate is nearly home. So I'm going to go a little bit more and see if I can actually get it, because it wants to be fully tightened down on this front cover. Wants to go a little bit more. Yeah, you see, it's there or thereabouts now. It's there's still probably a quarter of a turn to go. I might have to just give it a tap with a hammer just to, because the washers were a little bit kind of wavy, they're just not kind of compacting down exactly. So we just that's moved a little bit more. So that's the front cover home. So I'm pretty happy with that. You know, the main shaft's spinning freely. There's no resistance, so that means it won't bind. The end cover's in place. It's all the way home. So we'll leave it there for this part. So that's the shimming done. So we know that the number of shims in here, including the oil seals, is, you know, that's how many we need, including the oil seal on the inside. So next part we'll stick on the sprocket, including the shims and the seals. Here on this side we'll need a chain. We'll wrap the chain around the sprocket to secure it, and we'll use that vise for that. We'll get the sprocket on there, and then it should be onwards to sticking the gears in. Okay, thanks for watching.